This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
You know, normally I say I root for chaos. That's generally the way, if you're in the media, if you're a talk show host, a podcast host, you like chaos. Chaos is good for business. Chaos is exciting. I wasn't rooting for this, I got to admit. The Supreme Court just ruled against the Trump administration. And as I've said, on tariffs, 6-3. And I've said the difference between our side, Republicans, conservatives, and their side, Democrats, liberals, progressives, communists, Marxists, is they stick together. This ruling came down just moments ago. And of course, Chief Justice John Roberts ruled against Trump. Neil Gorsuch ruled with the liberals, and so did Amy Coney Barrett, who is just such a disappointment. I don't know if Trump's going to get another Supreme Court nomination appointment chance in the next 3 years. Hopefully he does. Maybe it'll be a conservative like Gorsuch or Alito, or hopefully not Alito, or Clarence Thomas, who retires. But if he does, he has to do a better job. He cannot listen to the forces of DEI. He cannot say, we need a woman, we need a African American, we need a transgender. Just pick a hardcore conservative and a really young one, like a 30-year-old conservative hardliner, and put him on the Supreme Court for the next 50 years. Trump is going to go off today. That's my prediction. He has a breakfast with governors. A bunch of Democrat governors are boycotting because, you know, they're all concerned about unity and they're not showing up. Then he has this State of the Union next week. Again, a bunch of Democrats are boycotting. They don't want to show up and sit on their hands when Trump introduces, you know, young kids with cancer or angel moms who've lost their children to illegal alien violence like they did last time. So they're just not going to show up, which is fine. Don't show up. The Supreme Court will show up, though, and maybe Trump will pull a Barack Obama and call out the Supreme Court at a State of the Union. I doubt it, but he's going to be real disappointed with this. We don't know what it means. I've read and watched some analysis, and generally what people say is this is just a chaotic situation. We've taken in billions and billions with these tariffs, and now what are we going to do? Give it back? What about all those plants and factories that were coming back to this country because of the tariffs? Are they going to stop building these plants in these factories and stop hiring Americans? Because, you know, we're back to free trade. We're back to a trade imbalance. These things worked. I'm sorry, they worked. There was no, when he on Liberation Day, when he announced the tariffs, every damn Democrat in the country said he's going to cause a recession. The stock market is going to collapse. It's going to be a disaster. And it wasn't. They were wrong. He was right. But it doesn't matter now. The Supreme Court ruled. Here it is from NBC News, just breaking, delivering a major blow to President Donald Trump. The Supreme Court ruled that he exceeded his authority when imposing sweeping tariffs using a law reserved for national emergency. The justices, divided 6-3, held that Trump's aggressive approach to tariffs on products entering the U.S. from across the world was not permitted under a 1977 law called the International Emergency Economic Powers. The ruling, authored by Chief Justice John Roberts, just a pathetic squish, was joined by 3 liberals and 2 fellow conservatives, Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett. God, I regret supporting her. What a mistake she was. Just like, I mean, they don't have this on the other side. David Souter, the greatest traitor we've ever seen on the Supreme Court, appointed by George H.W. Bush, he just turned. I mean, I don't know what happens in DC. They get pressure from the media, from the deep state, from the establishment. They want to, they want to be able to go to parties and restaurants without being harassed. So they flip and they become, Democrats. They become liberals once they get there. That doesn't happen the other way ever. It doesn't happen in the Supreme Court. It doesn't happen in the Senate, the House. It only goes one way. They don't have Susan Collinses and Lisa Murkowski's and Mitch McConnell's, just the biggest snake of them all, who's barely alive, and he's standing in the way of the Save America Act because he hates Trump. That's all. They just are just petty, vengeful people, and they want to stop Trump any way possible, and they don't care if these tariffs worked or didn't work, if we brought in billions or not. They don't care. It's all about stopping Trump, and this is a big day, a good day. They'll be celebrating. They'll have like bunting and balloons at MSNBC today and CNN, and Jake Tapper will do his whole show in a full state of arousal today. They'll just be Abby Phillips. She might even smile tonight. She's so happy. They don't care if it hurts the country, hurts workers, hurts the economy. Doesn't matter. It hurts Trump. That's all that matters. That's all anyone cares about. It is a real, incredible, unique, unprecedented phenomenon where one side does not care about the merits of anything, any policy, or borders or crime, or they don't care. They just can't stand the sight of the man in the Oval Office. It really is unprecedented when you think about it. You hear people railing against Trump, and you see a poll. There's a poll out. I should get it here. Came out yesterday. Who has done a better job as president? And they have Obama versus Trump. Obama wins like 20 points. Then they have Biden versus Trump. Biden wins by 7 points. People were polled and asked who has done a better job. 4 years of Biden, 1 year of Trump. And they picked Biden. And I looked at this and said, wait a second. You have to give a reason. That should be the poll. Who'd done a better job, Trump or Biden? And they picked Trump. And I looked at this and said, why? Why? What? I mean, I understand the orange man makes you feel icky when he posts on True Social or makes jokes or goes off the cuff. It really upsets your tummy. But give me one reason you think Biden did a better job. One thing. Just, what would it be? Would it be the border? Would it be crime? Would it be the economy, job? I mean, what would it be? The stock market? What metric would you use? That's what we're living through right now. The metrics be damned. The facts be damned. They cannot do it. There was another Harry Enton, segment where he's saying Trump is underwater now, and I'm going, okay, I understand. People don't like him. Why? As I always say when I debate people, tell me why you don't like him without mentioning things he said or posted. What has he done? Not said, done, that upsets you? And they can't answer. They'll say ICE is evil or something. And you go, wait a second. The last guy was a traitor. The last guy committed treason for 4 years when he opened the border and let in criminals and terrorists, 15 million of them. The job of the next guy, Donald Trump, was to fix that problem. He was elected to get these people out. He's doing that. And that upsets you? Oh, because ICE broke some illegal aliens' window on their car? Oh, I don't like the tactics. But wait a second. The last guy let in terrorists, literally people on the terror watch list, let in people in gangs, criminals, killers, drug dealers. And this is a big job for Trump and Tom Homan and Kristi Noem to get them out. And you're upset about the tactics, the process. How would you like to do that? Do you think we voted for Trump to be delicate, to be kind and sensitive, and to ask illegal alien killers nicely if they would like to leave the country? Would it be okay? We offered them $2,600 and a plane ticket. I would say that's pretty considerate. That's pretty sensitive to say, let us know when you'd like to leave. Well, we'll book you a flight. Want a window or an aisle? What time would you like to leave? Are you going to be carrying on or checking a bag? Just let us know and we'll set it up for you. Would that make you happy? How would you like them to do the job they were elected to do? And we hear, every time you see a Democrat on cable news or online, but Renee Good, Alex Preddy, that's all Renee Good, Alex Preddy. Do you know more than 1,200 Americans have been killed by illegals since Biden was elected 5 years ago? Do you mention any of them? Does Springsteen sing about them? Does U2 has a new song, U2, about ICE and immigration and Renee Good. And I wonder, if you ask Bono, do you even know who Laken Riley is? Do you know who Rachel Marin or just Jocelyn Nungry? Do you know the number of people who've suffered, the number of families who've been destroyed by illegal alien criminals? Does it even matter to you? That's was the biggest issue a year ago or a year and a half ago in the election. That was what we voted for. And that's what people still want. Polls show they still want deportations, despite the efforts of the media. And I will say I've been wrong about the media. I used to think the mainstream media, the Democrat machine, was losing. They couldn't stop Trump. Trump 2.0. They tried. Damn it, they did their best. They tried to put him in jail. They tried to kill him, tried to bankrupt him. They took him off the ballot. And I thought they failed. They just don't have the power that they used to have. They just can't. They can't do the things now they used to do because the media has been diluted. Mainstream media, people stop listening. Their ratings suck. I was wrong. Kudos to them. Credit to the mainstream media. They've painted this picture of Trump 2.0, Trump in this term, as a failure, as a worse president than Joe Biden, which makes you wonder just how stupid the electorate is, just how gullible that they're going to look back on 4 years of Biden, 4 years of an open border and runaway inflation, and just insane spending and utter and just outright corruption. They're going to look at that guy and say he was better. He's not better than Trump. He's not better than anybody. He's the worst president in American history. Trump is right about that, and there's a reason. He did it. He did it on purpose. I guess he sacrificed his presidency for the greater good, the greater goal for Democrats, which was changing the country, which was letting in 15 to 20 million illegals and putting on a path to citizenship and voting. That's what the last guy did. That's his legacy. You cannot say he was better than Trump or better than anyone. Somehow we've lost our way. I wish I would just ask, my friends in the media, when someone tells you this Trump term's a disaster, make them tell you why. Make them tell you why. And it can't just be Renee Good. It can't be. Again, that's unfortunate. She put herself in a bad position. She lost her life. She gave up her life to protect illegal alien criminals. So that's exactly what Alex Preddy did. And now they're heroes. They're martyrs. They're U2 and Springsteen are singing about them. I want to do this one story before we get to all this. We got so much to get to on this Friday. Wild day, wild week. I can't get this one out of my mind. I mean, all day, if you're online, you see all day about illegal alien criminals committing crimes still. I mean, Trump is right when he says they sent the worst of the worst here intentionally. That's what countries like Venezuela did. They sent prisoners, they sent killers, they sent mentally ill people. But this one, well, just, did you hear about it? Did Abby Phillips tell you about this? Did Jake Tapper? This is from Florida, so NBC in Florida. A man who tried to drown a woman at a Florida beach before leaving her for dead in a random attack is facing attempted murder charges. A woman walking down the beach in Stewart, Florida, talking on the phone with her sister, and this illegal alien monster from Venezuela. This is why I think Trump's right. These aren't just people who looking for, obviously, for a better life. These are evil people, evil, rotten, just monsters. Decides, you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm bored. I'm going to drown an innocent woman in the ocean. And he thought he did it. She only escaped because she played dead. Check this out. Play it.
This quiet stretch of sand in Stewart, known as Tiger Shores Beach, is where investigators say the victim was peacefully walking while speaking with her sister when she passed a man sitting on the sand. That man, identified as 26-year-old Saida Alexander Hernandez Gonzalez, originally from Venezuela, allegedly attacked her violently and without warning.
This individual, according to her, held her down for an extended period of time. She was trying to time her breaths, pick her head up, get her breath, but he continued to fight with her until she went unconscious.
Authorities say the suspect let her go when he believed she had died and then fled. A short time later, the woman regained consciousness and managed to escape until she found deputies who were already nearby. Detectives searched for the suspect for days until a call from Port St. Lucie police changed the course of the investigation.
Port St. Lucie Police Department got a call from a lady who was saying that her boyfriend was suicidal. Port St. Lucie Police Department then spoke to the boyfriend, and while they were speaking to him, they asked him a question like, "Why do you want to kill yourself?" And he launches into the story about how he had just murdered a female down at a beach in Martin County and left her for dead on the beach.
Detectives interviewed the man who allegedly told them he believed the woman had died.
He was just talking about her in the fight, and he says that eventually the female stopped fighting and he believed that she died. He stated, "I thought I could not stop right now because I'd gone too far." So he continued choking her until she stopped moving.
Investigators say he continued talking during questioning. Authorities informed him that the victim survived. He now faces a charge of attempted first-degree murder. The suspect remains in Martin County Jail without bond, while ICE has placed a retention on him due to his expired work visa.
This let in by Joe Biden, the last president. And you have polls. I mean, here's one right here. Poll, YouGov poll. Trump rated as the worst president ever. They asked 2,255 U.S. citizens to rank 20 different presidents. A majority of Americans rated Trump as poor or below average, 55%. Highest share of negative responses in the poll. Biden was next at 50%, and then Richard Nixon. So Trump is worse than Biden, which I can't get over, and worse than Nixon, and obviously worse than Obama. That guy was let in intentionally by the last president. I understand. Many of the people responding are stupid. They don't care about this woman who had to fake her own death while he's drowning her for no reason. And if you're paying attention, it happens every day. Every day there's another story, 2 or 3 stories of illegal aliens still let into the country by Biden who are killing or attempting to kill Americans. And we're supposed to think, oh no, Renee Good should still be with us. Yeah, she should. So should Laken Riley and Jocelyn Nungry and so many others killed, raped, tortured. It's that story, I think in North Carolina, of 2 illegal aliens taking a guy, kidnapping him, torturing him, and killing him. They pulled out his fingernails. This was this week. Did you hear about that? Did Bono hear about that? Did Springsteen hear about that? Did Abby Phillips? Of course not. Good question by Joe. on the comment line, where is Mayorkas? Someone asked me recently what I'm disappointed in this second Trump term. What, because, flip it on its head. I'd say all the good things, the closing the border, the rounding up illegals, ending wars. And he'd say, why aren't people being arrested? I know we've asked this 1,000 times. Mayorkas did this. Biden did this. Why do we sit here and allow Joe Biden to sit comfortably in one of his homes to live out his final days? They wouldn't do that. If you had a criminal who just finished a 4-year term, he would be hauled before Congress. He'd be arrested. He would be indicted. He would be impeached. Why isn't Joe Biden impeached? Why isn't Mayorkas arrested? No one in the history of the country did more damage than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Alejandro Mayorkas. No one. They did this on purpose, and Americans died. And yet we just move on. We are weak. Republicans are just weak. We can't pass a damn SAVE Act so that people prove they're citizens to vote. We have people who are against that. You know what Democrats did in unison? Voted against the Laken Riley Act, which called for the deportation of illegal aliens who commit violent crimes. They got together, stayed together, and voted against that. They voted against the women's sports bill. They voted against keeping men out of women's sports, and they did it all together. They stuck together. We can't come together to assure our elections. The only people voting are Americans. A simple thing that's favored by 83% of voters of Americans, including 71% of Democrats. And we can't pass that. It's just frustrating. It's weak. And here we go. Tariffs are out and chaos ensues. And congratulations, Democrats. It'll probably hurt Americans, American workers, the American economy. They don't care. They are out to stop Donald Trump. And today's a big day for them. Give them credit. All right, we got a lot more to get to. The latest from New York City. I saw a theory on what Mamdani is up to, what Mamdani's objective is in New York, and it is scary. We'll get to that. And man, we got, again, Democrats, big city, blue city Democrats have done it again. Yes, Brandon Johnson and Pritzker, J.B. Pritzker, may have driven the Chicago Bears out of Chicago. Congratulations, guys. Great job. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
A well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, and everyday staples that feel easy to wear and easy to rely on, even as the weather shifts. Quince has the everyday essentials I love with quality that lasts. Organic cotton sweaters, polos for every occasion, lighter jackets that keep you warm in the changing seasons. The list goes on. Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middleman, so you're not paying brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. Plus, they only partner with factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. I got a couple of Quince shirts, and I'm telling you, I love them. They were inexpensive, and I'm a cheap bastard, so that matters. And they've held up really well after a few washes, good as new. So refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/Jerry for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/Jerry. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Jerry. Man, when I started pushing 60, it started pushing back. Some just fell off. Not dramatic. Things just got a little harder. Workouts didn't hit the same. I'd crash at 2 or 3 p.m. Same diet, same routine, but softer around the middle. That's not supposed to happen. So yeah, I did what a lot of guys do. I went down the Google rabbit hole. Low T kept coming up. Doctors are quick to suggest TRT, weekly shots, dependency, thousands of dollars a year. Not for me. And once you dig into it, what does it actually mean long term? That's a commitment. It's a little too much. That's when I found Mars Men. And this is what I'm taking now, and I'm genuinely pleased with it. It's a natural testosterone stack designed to support your body's own production instead of replacing it. Real ingredients, no needles, no synthetics. For me, it's steady energy all day, stronger lifts, clearer focus. And it's not a caffeine spike. It just feels consistent. I honestly feel better going into 2026 than I have in years. It's made in the U.S., third-party tested, 90-day money-back guarantee. Thousands of guys are swearing by it. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. It's a perfect way to kick off the new year. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support this show and tell them we sent you. All right, they're getting what they voted for in New York City, and they're getting it good and hard. I would like to say I'm enjoying this, and part of me is, yes, this is what they voted for. This is what they're getting. But this is even worse than we ever imagined. This is scary. Yesterday, Kami Mamdani released his budget. We went over this yesterday. It's remarkable. He wants a $117 billion city budget. City budget. I mean, 127. There are 8 million people in New York. This budget would be bigger than the state of Florida, which has got 23 million people. New York has 8 million. Tokyo is twice the size of New York and half the budget. And of course, it's cleaner, more orderly. Everything about it is better than New York. I knew it would be bad. I didn't think it would be this bad. This is day one. He canceled 5,000 new cops for new hires for the NYPD. So he's sticking to one thing. It wasn't a campaign promise. It was something he said few years ago. Defund the police. Yes, he's defunding the police in New York. How do you think that's going to go? Here's a few items from his budget proposal for fiscal 2026. This is amazing. He told you yesterday, or a couple days ago, we talked about it yesterday, that he said they're facing a dire fiscal situation and he can't raise taxes on the rich, because Kathy Hochul won't let him. The state knows what a disaster that would be. Even Hochul knows, so he can't do that. He said his only alternative is to raise property taxes and raid the pensions and raid the rainy day fund. And he said it.
He said he's forced to do that.
Forced. And he said it defiantly, like, you made me do this. You made me raise property taxes, which will, of course, raise rents, which will be another failed a broken promise. He's not going to lower your rent. We all knew that, but whatever. They did it anyway. Here's what his plan allocates. $5.6 million for the Office of Racial Equity, $4.6 million for the Commission on Racial Equity. So there you go. $10 million for racial equity in New York City in 2026. $835,000 for the Commission on Gender Equity, $260,000 for the Department of Education Chief Diversity Officer. So one person in charge of diversity will be making $260K. $301,000 for 3 FDNY Chief Diversity Inclusion Officers. So New York's $118,000 for FDNY Chief Diversity Inclusion Officer. What? That's more than $400,000 for the fire department.
The first 3 are civilian chief diversity inclusion officers.
So this communist, this Marxist, this maniac thinks New York City needs more diversity. Well, let me give you the numbers. This is staggering. New York City has 364,000 employees. Gee, where do you think all that money's going? How many worthless bureaucrats are making $150K 200K in New York City, and the mayor says he has no choice but to raise property taxes. Of those 364,000, how many do you think are white in New York? Take a guess, Ironhead. What percentage? New York City's probably, I don't know, half white at least. What would you say?
I believe you told me the answer before the show.
31% of the 364,000 employees are white, and he's spending 10 million plus for diversity, for racial equity. I'm sorry, Mayor, but don't you think you've already achieved? If diversity means don't hire white people, which is the policy of most blue cities these days. If you ever walk through a city hall, I've done it in a blue city. There are no white people anymore. 65% of black women with college degrees work for the government. It's already been done. In their mind, diversity is whites need not apply. That's the approach. They've already achieved it. And yet he wants to spend $10 million on racial equity in the city, which means, in my mind, one thing: fraud. It's just fraud. It's just an opportunity to reward supporters with no-show $150,000, $200,000 a year jobs to do nothing. They've already achieved their goal. They've already eliminated most white people, but it's not enough. The people who support this are racist. That's all. They support this. They know there's no diversity issue problem to be addressed, but they want to make sure they continue to keep their government, their little thing here in New York City. They want to keep the gravy train going, rewarding people of color who support Mamdani with phony, baloney jobs. It's fraud. Maybe Nick Shirley will head to New York next, but they won't care. He won't do anything about it. It's policy from Mamdani. Racism is the policy. Keep white people out of city government. And it's happening in, like I said, most, if not all, blue cities, including DC, which we'll get to. But here's a group of, I think they're all African Americans, homeowners they're called. So they're paying mortgages and property taxes. And the guy I'm sure supported, just told them, your taxes are going up, and they're not happy. Here it is in New York City yesterday.
The mayor, with the greatest respect, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out.
Saving only two options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I got to increase property taxes. We are not a pawn in Southeast Queens. We are not part of your negotiation tactics. Zoran Mondani, you are out your goddamn mind.
It's only been 50 days. These guys had a month and a half, and they're already rising up in New York. Hey, can you get me the latest video I sent you from Times Square? This is Mamdani's. We should do this every day. We need a nice catchy name for it. Mamdani's New York. Here is Mamdani's New York. This isn't the video we showed you yesterday. This is a new one. This is Times Square. If you've been to Times Square, you know there are roads. There are actual roads with cars. Not yet, not last night. No cars, because I would say hundreds, maybe 1,000 Muslims decided that was the time and place they were going to pray. They put their rugs down and they prayed, blocking traffic in Times Square. This is Mamdani's New York, and it's just begun. There are 581 mosques in New York. They could go to any of them and pray. Hell, they could go to the sidewalk. They could go to a parking lot, a park. But no, they are flexing because their guy is in office, and they can do that. Brian says New York is getting destroyed. Yes, it is. New York is getting destroyed in real time. And I'm sure people will have regrets. Those guys obviously have regrets, but we told you this was coming. We told you what he was going to do. We didn't think he'd do it this quickly, but he's doing it, man. He is doing it. He's filling the the mayor's office with diversity hires, friends, and stealing your money and raising your taxes and not giving you any free buses. And by the way, the first city-owned grocery store lasted a week, and it closed. I shouldn't laugh, but I'm sorry. I'm going to laugh. It is, you voted for this and you are getting it good and hard. Let's go to DC. This story is incredible. And I don't think you're hearing that much about it. The spill, the environmental disaster in DC, it's actually in Maryland, but the DC Water Department is responsible for this. Have you heard much about this? We are up to, let me give you the latest, 250 million gallons of raw sewage pumped into the Potomac. Yes, into the Potomac River because of this disaster, because a massive 72-inch pipeline ruptured on January 19th. Now up to 250 million gallons of untreated sewage into the Potomac just north of Washington in the last couple weeks. I think this all the time. I walk by a big water facility, a plant in Boston. I walk by all the time, and I look at it and I say, thank God we have people who know how to do that. You know, it's one of those deals where you go, we take it for granted. We have fresh water, drinking water. Obviously, we have toilets that work. When you go to other countries, when you go to Mexico or the Caribbean or wherever, you often wonder, is it going to work like it does at home? Because I take it for granted at home. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's important. It's a cornerstone of a civilized modern society to have a sewage system, a water system that works. And fortunately, we have engineers and smart people who build these plants and make them work. And I don't think we give them enough credit. We should, because here's what happens when you don't hire really good people, smart people, managers and engineers to get your water system to work correctly. They did this in DC. They hired this guy. He's the water manager. David Gaddis is his name. And you wonder why is there raw sewage in the river? Why we have this disaster. And by the way, before we get to David, can you find for me, Ironhead, what has Greta Thunberg said about this? What have all our great environmental champions, what has AOC said about this? Ed Markey, John Kerry, are they there? Are they protesting, marching? Greta's on a sailboat to Gaza, but apparently she hasn't heard about this. To put it in perspective, these aren't obviously apples to apples, but the Exxon Valdez, we think of that as the greatest environmental disaster of our lives. 11 million gallons of oil into the ocean in Alaska. The Deepwater Horizon disaster, 210 million gallons. The DC water disaster, 250 million gallons into a freshwater river where people used to fish and swim and boat and walk and look at the beautiful flowing river. Now they're looking at beautiful flowing sewage. And you wonder, who's responsible? Why did this happen? Well, I got a theory. Maybe making sure the thing worked properly wasn't the top priority for David Gaddis. Here is the manager explaining his priorities when he took over the water department in DC. Go ahead.
When I arrived at DC Water, this was an organization that looked very similar to our industry. It was predominantly, white male at the top, but this is a utility that's, more than 70% people of color work at this utility. And I really believe, and I still believe, and it has been fantastic. The outcomes have been fantastic, but the people at the top, the executives, the chiefs in that C-suite, they should look like the employees that they serve and that they work with. And the same thing with the community. And so my executive team, looks exactly like the community. It looks like the employees, the staff, be it people of color, women, men. And it's just a fantastic team that has come together to do a lot of great things here at DC Water and in the community for the customers.
Well, good. So they got, 250 million gallons of raw sewage in their river, but at least he looks like the community. What does that even mean? I know what it means. I know what he means, but he's an old, bald guy. Does he look like everyone in his community? Does he? So you hire people for this big job, important job, obviously, and your priority is their skin color and make sure it matches with other people in your community. This is another reason we got Donald Trump 2.0. We should be done with this. This is madness. As I've said many times, if you want to push, racial grievance and DI in the, women's study department at Wesleyan or Wellesley, that's fine. If you want to do this in some meaningless faculty lounge, that's one thing. But when you do it in the military or police forces and fire departments and water departments, you might get this. You might get a real disaster. They put out a post, I'm looking for it now, where the DC Water Department, a celebratory post saying 82% of their employees are BIPOC, Black, Island, Pacific, or whatever color, I don't know, BIPOC. And they have a picture of the DC management team, all Black women. And they think that's a good thing. They're celebrating it because they look like the community. So if you can't fish or swim or your neighborhood smells like sewage, don't let it get you down, because the people responsible look like you, according to them. And why do they think? I thought that was offensive to say all Black people look the same or all BIPOC people, but they say it proudly. That's insane. Oh, hat tip to Matt Walsh, who just broke this down brilliantly and explained how insane it is that we are living in an age. We have this really critical job, and you don't do it, but you think you've achieved your goal because you didn't hire any white people. Or maybe you fired them or laid them off because they're white. Is that what he did? He's from the Flint, Michigan Water Department too. So he had quite a track record before he ended up in DC. And there's your results. DEI kills a river, a clean water river in our nation's capital. And no environmentalist nut is protest. They're not even mentioning it because they're happy. The guy who's responsible is a person of color. He's BIPOC. We should all be happy. Speaking of failed DEI hires, we got to get to the mayor of Chicago, who has it's not official yet, who may actually drive the Bears out of Chicago. How things going, Chicago? How's he doing? How are your favorite Democrats doing? We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
You don't always realize how bad your sheets have gotten until you finally replace them. If your sheets are piling, thinning, slipping, or overheating, that's your sign that it's time to upgrade to Boll & Branch. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and designed to hold their shape, stay breathable, and feel luxuriously soft night after night. You'll fall asleep faster, stay comfortable all night, and actually notice the difference the moment you get into bed. And they don't wear out. They get softer after every wash. The fastest and simplest way to upgrade your sleep is replacing your sheets. It's a one-time upgrade that pays off every single night. No setup, no habit building, no guesswork, just noticeably better sleep. They're buttery soft from the start, get softer over time, and help you relax the moment you lie down. You'll notice the Boll & Branch difference immediately. Boll & Branch sheets are made from moments of unmatched comfort. This is sleep you don't compromise on. We got our new Bull and Branch sheets, and I can tell you, I enjoy going to bed. Didn't know I needed them, but I love my new Bull and Branch sheets. Sleep sound with Bull and Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bullandbranch.com/Gerry. Code word Gerry. That's Bull and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/Gerry. Code word Gerry to unlock 15%. Exclusions apply. All right, how's this sound, Ironhead? The Wolf Lake Bears. That doesn't sound too bad. Wolf Lake Bears.
A little bit of a mouthful.
That, Chicago Bears. It's not like it's a real iconic brand or anything.
No.
They are heading allegedly, reportedly, possibly to Wolf Lake, Indiana, which is only 17 miles away from Chicago. But man, the symbolism is just breathtaking when you think about it. They couldn't make a deal. It's not signed. Pritzker still hoping, Brandon Johnson still hoping they can get a deal done. But you know what happened here. They sat down with Brandon Johnson and said, this guy's a moron. He was probably complaining about Trump and racism and everything else. And they have apparently close to a deal to build their stadium in Wolf Lake, Indiana. The Bears have been in Chicago for more than 100 years. 100 years. And it really doesn't matter the details. I mean, we can go over them when the deal is done. But the symbolism, the perception people in Chicago will have is, you idiots, you lost the Chicago Bears. I'm hoping this happens. I'm hoping they end up in Wolf Lake, and then they'll have to be like a lame duck because the stadium will take a while. So they'll have like a year or two in, like the Oakland A's before they went to Vegas, and they had no fans and people were showing up with bags on their heads. That'll be like the Bears until they end up in Wolf Lake. But here's this idiot, Brandon Johnson, who is just an embarrassment. I have to ask again. I understand that, black people want to have black representatives. You couldn't find a better one? I mean, like with Jasmine Crockett, there's a lot to choose from. There's some competent black people, even Democrats. You picked this moron and you thought things were going to work out. Things were going to go well. Here's Brandon Johnson. And I believe they've got buyer's remorse. I believe his approval ratings like in the single digits, but still he's the mayor and he's the guy responsible for losing the Chicago Bears. Here he is asked about it.
Is my face straight? Okay. All right. Let me keep a straight face here. The Bears belong in the city of Chicago. The Chicago Bears belong in the city of Chicago, right? And I've said repeatedly that the door is always open for conversations, Kevin Warren did call me yesterday. We didn't get a chance to connect, and I still firmly believe that their best position is in Chicago, and it's evidence. The evidence is clearly speaking for itself.
I don't even know what that means. Why did he have to keep a straight face?
Because he was probably going to laugh. I don't know.
Laugh about the Bears leaving. The Bears, people are in it. The Bears right now are pretty exciting. Caleb Williams is very exciting. I mean, they had a good 2025, and now this thing's just going to hang over them. But that's good. Blame Pritzker. Oh, shoot, we got to get to her. I want to get to this guy who's kicking ass in track here in Boston. But let's do this first. This is an actual candidate for Senate, Juliana Stratton. By the way, she's not just a candidate for Senate. She's the lieutenant governor. This is peak Trump derangement right here. This is an ad for a Senate candidate. Good news is she's getting smoked in the polls. I'm looking at the latest poll. She's losing to a guy or a woman. I don't even know who this is. Raja Krishmanorithi. I assume a Indian name. Raja has got 31% in the latest poll. Juliana Stratton, 10%. Good. She's getting smoked in the polls, even though she's She's the lieutenant governor and has the endorsement of Pritzker, as you'll see in this. But this is insane. This is where we are in 2026. This constitutes an ad for a Senate candidate. A woman wants you to send her to the most exclusive club in the world, the U.S. Senate. And this is the best she could come up with. I believe we bleeped it out. Correct, Ironhead?
Yes, I did.
Her whole ad is F Trump. That's it. Watch.
Trump. Vote Juliana. Trump. Vote Juliana.
Trump. Vote Juliana.
They said it, not me. I'm Juliana Stratton, and I'm proud to have lived my whole life on the south side of Chicago. I'm not scared of a wannabe dictator. I'm running for Senate to stand up to Donald Trump. I'll abolish ICE and hold Trump accountable for the crimes he's committed, just like they said.
Trump.
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 Vote Juliana.
That's why I approve this message.
Unbelievable. She lives on the south side, lived on the south side of Chicago her whole life, and her goal is to abolish ICE, which is catching criminals in a crime-ridden city, and stop Trump. And her whole commercial is F Trump. It's not going to work. I'm sorry. It's just not going to work. But she has Pritzker and people, just average people saying F Trump. And they think that's an ad.
Her alone, she's going to abolish ICE, and she's not afraid of a wannabe dictator.
Wannabe dictator. Just, I mean, they're like high school kids. If you gave them a, assignment, make a political commercial, a political ad, could do better than that. Just get a bunch of people to say F Trump. That's it. And abolish ICE. You can't abolish ICE, first of all. And you're living in one of the most crime-ridden places in the country, and you're complaining about law enforcement? Good luck, lady. Hopefully, I don't know anything about Raja, but hopefully this woman goes down in flames. You know what? Do I have time to do this, runner? Because I want to get to some of the comments, Leah. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is amazing. Again, you feel like this stuff we're beyond it. We've gotten past it thanks to Trump and Title IX and his executive order reinstating, girls' sports are just for girls. It's most places in this country, boys can't beat up on girls anymore. Most people have woken up and they're done with it. Well, not here in Massachusetts. I had to read this twice. I'm like checking the date on it, saying, this is still happening? Yes, it's still happening. If you're looking at the screen, there is Lily Serrano. Is that her name? His name, Lily Serrano. Lily's a boy who grew out his hair and put in pigtails, put on lipstick, changed his name, and is now kicking ass in girls' track. This is from Redux, who does a good job on this issue. You won't read it in the Boston Globe. Oh, you might. They'll say how wonderful, how brave, courageous Lily is. Here's from Redux. Women's sports advocacy groups are expressing outrage after a male student was found to be competing in girls' track and field for Chelsea High School in Massachusetts. Lily Serrano captured 2 podium finishes in Thursday's Massachusetts Interscholastic Division III Track and Field Championships. Serrano, who has competed in girls' sports since 2024, has earned multiple podium finishes. Check this out. Earlier this month in the Greater Boston League Championships, Serrano placed first in the 55-meter dash and the high jump, third in the 500 meters. On February 12th, Serrano took third in the 55-meter, seventh in the 300-meter. He's 17 years old. Serrano ranks first on the Chelsea High School team in the 200, 300, 400, high jump, 55-meter dash. Totally dominating. Serrano is ranked as the second best, quote, female runner in Massachusetts in the division, in the 200-meter. So here is the second best female in Massachusetts in the 200-meter, and it's a guy who, by the way, wouldn't sniff the medal stand if he ran against other guys. Why would you want to do that if you're Lily Serrano? Why would you want to finish last among the boys when you can dominate the girls? And once again, It's obviously this kid's a punk and a bully, but it's not his fault. They let him do this. Teachers, coaches, administrators, and yes, politicians. I believe this is in Catherine Clark's district. Catherine Clark has a trans kid. She's 100% behind this. So is Seth Moulton, Ed Markey, Liz Warren, all elected Democrats. They don't want you to accept Lily. They want you to celebrate Lily, a boy beating up on girls. I just got a tweet from a guy who said his daughter lost out on the state, qualifying for the state championship by 1 because she lost to this guy. Those are victims. Those are girls losing to the guy, losing trophies, losing medals, losing in some cases, chances to run in college because they lost to a guy. And every single elected Democrat thinks it's wonderful. I'm glad to see this because I want it to be an issue in 2026 and 2028. It is, forget 80-20. This is a 95-5 issue. No normal, sensible person thinks it's a good thing that a guy is stealing girls' trophies. Hell, stealing their moment. These girls train hard and they get a chance, one chance to win a medal, win a trophy. And he steals it from them. And every Democrat, every adult, coaches, just like, with the trans shooter in Pawtucket, teachers told the kids he was courageous. That's what they're telling kids about Lily. He's courageous, living his authentic self. No, he's a bully. He's a punk, and he's taken girls' opportunities away. And, Democrats used to tell us they cared about women and girls. They really don't. All right, do we have any good comments? I want to do this. I told you I'd go to the comment line. And here we are. There's Joe saying, what about Mayorkas? Good question. I'd love to see old liberal white girls take this guy in. Which guy? Oh, the guy who tried to drown the woman in Florida. Let's see. What are we thinking about Trump releasing the files on extraterrestrials? That's good. Release all files. I want all files released, but I'm with Musk. If Musk tells me there's no alien life out there, I believe him. He's looked at this more than any human being, and he says there's no evidence. We'll see. Trump just wants to throw this back on Obama, who foolishly said, yeah, there are aliens. But he was just trying to be cute. A civil war is coming, says Jim. I like our chances if it does come, but I don't think it's going to come. Joe says there are 5 million registered voters in New York and only 2.2 voted. You get what you didn't try to stop. Good point, but that's always the case. And Mamdani did one thing. He motivated his base. His base is Islamicists, radical Muslims, and radical gender cultists. He motivated them, and they showed up, and they're getting what they voted for. And you know what? It's sad. I mean, I do have mixed feelings. I hate to see this happen in New York, but that's what New Yorkers wanted. Kurt says, let me get this straight. Tariffs coming into this country are illegal, but tariffs going out aren't. Yes, you got that right. They need qualified people, says Sylvester, not DEI hires. Yeah, it is amazing when you think about it. Again, you want to have DEI hires doing some meaningless note job in some office down the hall. That's one thing. But when they're affecting your life, and we see it every day with these police chiefs, these DEI police chiefs in cities like New Orleans, and you say, wait a second, DC, that lunatic, and you say they're hurting people. DEI hurts people. DEI kills people, and now DEI has 250 million gallons of sewage flowing through our nation's capital. Great job. Great job, Democrats. All right. We will leave it there for today and for this week. It's going to get crazy. Chaos is coming. Next week, I believe next week we have a State of the Union and both Clintons testifying. It is going to get wild, and we are here for it. But that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we will do it again Monday morning.
What we would rather do is ensure that they remain as they are so that the city can be on firm financial footing. However, in order to get to this point of closing the gap on both this fiscal year and the next fiscal year, we are forced to raid the Rainy Day Fund, the Retiree Health Benefits Trust Reserve, and to increase property taxes across these other years.